Hello again, welcome to a new video. Apologies on the crinkled nature of this paper for the next two videos. See, when it comes down to it, I printed it off in another building, and it's currently raining outside, so it got a bit wet, and now it's a bit crinkly. But it can still be read, so it functions. And thus, let us talk about the necessity of restraint. Now, see, restraint does not mean just holding back, it means holding back when necessary. Sometimes you do need to act with certain levels of impunity, to just go and do things. You shouldn't always act like that, though. You do need restraint. After all, not all actions are advisable to be taken. Punching someone just because you dislike them, well, that's not exactly a good idea for a number of reasons. After all, if everyone started punching people just because they disliked what they said, we'd quickly find a lot of people with missing teeth. It's simply not advisable to do all actions all the time, and so we must restrain ourselves when bad actions could be taken. And of course, there are other actions which encourage addiction and are thus ill-advised. Addictions are, well, permanent, or at the very least, continuous for a decent period. If, for example, you drink alcohol and get addicted to it, suddenly, not only are you a drunkard and a lush, you are also going to engage in poor behavior. And that poor behavior is going to waste money and resources when it could otherwise be invested in other actions, other times. Just generally better options. Like, for example, starting a family, taking care of said family, or securing one's position so they can help others out. Generally speaking, you want to do good. Addictions make that hard. At the very least, harder. And so, you need to be restrained, not engage in such debauchery. And of course, with restraint, poor personality traits can be restrained, go figure, until fixed or otherwise mitigated. For example, someone who's egotistical can restrain their ego until they get it under check. Someone with anger issues can restrain their anger until they figure out how to properly deal with it. I would know the anger issues one from experience. This may shock you, or most likely not, but I did have anger issues. Arguably, one may say I still do, but that one is debatable. And restraint helped greatly because it meant I wasn't constantly doing stupid things all the time, stupid things that got me in trouble. And so, generally speaking, it is good to have restraint, especially when it comes to bad traits that you know are bad. A glutton does not benefit from gorging themselves every day. They benefit from when they restrain themselves and mitigate the severity of their actions. And so, you get more power over yourself and your decision making. And that is very beneficial, because it allows you to control the direction your life takes. It allows you to be rational, rather than those who are unrestrained, which tend to not act rationally, but engage in short-term emotional behaviors and create many issues as a result. Are emotions sometimes useful? Yes, they are quite literally designed to be useful, or exist for use. But the issue is the short-term actions that, when in a rational situation, can often lead to issues. Something bad happens and your immediate response is anger or sadness, essentially saying bad things are going on. But oftentimes the reaction to that will be inappropriate. For example, if you're angry, you may want to punch something, but that is often a waste of resources and time, and so it is ill-advised. Emotional behaviors must be restrained to some extent. Now, I will add, with a caveat, that some level of impulsivity should exist. After all, let's take, for example, if you're in a fight. Someone starts a fight with you, right? In a fight, you must act quickly, because if you hesitate for too long, well, someone's going to knock you the freak out or just kill you. And so, you need to be able to act quickly, almost on impulse, if not directly on impulse. But, when you're not in those situations, and you want to, say, avoid those situations, you need restraint. It is advised in day-to-day handling of stimuli, because fundamentally, that is what keeps you out of those situations. It is when you think, look at the map and say, I am here, I want to get here, how do I do that efficiently? That you get smart options. When you run off on your own without thinking and try to get to the point B from point A, you often take the wrong turns, make the wrong choices, And you could very well end up where you started, or farther away than when you intended to be. And so, as a result, emotional behavior can often lead to the exact opposite of what you want. And so rational behavior is advised in most situations. We are not purely rational creatures. That is not the case. But we still have the capability for it, something that is very rare among the animal kingdom. And we should take advantage of it. It is something useful, and restraint is one of our best ways to do so, because it allows us to control our urges, our impulses, whether they be positive or negative, because there are good impulses. If you eat something good that's healthy, then you want to eat more of it, which encourages healthy eating. It can also encourage gluttony if it's done in excess, but that is what the restraint is for. Sometimes you have good impulses. That's just reality. But most of the time, it is better to be restrained. Because if it's a bad impulse, like for example, touching someone without their consent, then that is really bad for everyone. Especially you, because I'm pretty sure that would be a sexual assault charge at minimum. Needless to say, bad things can happen from listening purely to impulse, from not restraining yourself. So it's best to be restrained, to hold some level of, restraint, to not constantly engage in activities just because you feel like it. Instead, hold down the fort. Act appropriately and confidently when a rational decision can be made. Move quickly, yes, but move rationally. Don't ever act purely on impulse unless absolutely necessary, because that tends to not end well. Oh, and I'll make an announcement on Friday for something that's going to happen in the upcoming week. Feel free to tune in to figure that one out. But I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and goodbye.